me and my mum thought, let's do it. So literally over like a bottle of red wine one night, we were like, shall we take over her lease? And yeah, the rest is history, as they say. Yeah. The main problem that we face is, or I feel for me, is just that constant guilt, the kind of mum guilt, and just feeling like when you're at work, you know, that you're dropping balls at home. When you're at home, you know, rather than necessarily being in the moment, you're kind of thinking about everything you need to do. I mean, I always say sort of I work part-time. I think when it's your own business, it's never really part-time.
Hello and welcome to this Friday's episode of The Big Chat. My name is Coco and I am your host for the episode, and I am delighted to have this person come along. I've been trying to get her to come in and have a chat with me for a while. Well, that makes it sound like I've been dragging her in. I haven't been literally dragging her in, but she's so busy. She's so busy doing what she does that doing that and juggling being a mother and a businesswoman, which I can relate to greatly. She has very little time, but she has made some time for us this morning. So I'm delighted to introduce you to Sophie of Bod and Ted.
Hello.
Hello, Sophie.
What an introduction.
What an introduction. I mean, people might have got a slight inkling of who you are and what you do from this beautiful rail hanging here. But do you want to tell people that are listening? Because hopefully everyone will be watching us on YouTube, but those that are just listening on their Spotifys, what is it you do, Sophie?
So we are a premium women's wear store, stocking many brands, lots from Europe, a lot of British brands, but yeah, we're multi-channel, we're online, and obviously we have our store on the Tunbridge Wells High Street. And yeah, I just thought I'd bring a selection of our pieces of, you know, there's a lot of colour, a lot of print, as you can see
Beautiful.
From this rail, but yeah, so we launched Bod and Ted back in 2008.
That's
so
amazing.
years a long time ago.
That is really, I mean, that's like I said to you earlier, I was like, don't tell me, because we went, but that is 2008.
Yeah. So yeah, I was 21, so yeah, it's going to be 15 years next year. I think we need to have a big party, don't we?
You really do.
So yeah, we launched the store in Salcombe in Devon. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I didn't know that.
I know. No, I mean, not many people do. I think that is going way back, obviously. And yeah, I was working in a boutique down there kind of on my holidays from studying. Yeah. And it was called Goddess, and amazing. I was working there. It was very different to what we are now. But the owner was moving. She was moving away to Exeter, and she had a bit of time left on her lease. And me and my mum thought, let's do it. So literally over like a bottle of red wine one night, we were like, shall we take over her lease? Brilliant. And yeah, the rest is history.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So is there still a shop in?
No. So we are. Is there? I forgot. I'm like, no, there's definitely not.
So you took over the end of that lease.
We did.
So did you rename the shop then?
We did. Yeah. The whole thing. I think we took some railings. I think we may have taken a little bit of stock, but it was very much just the kind of shop space itself, and then it was just us frantically trying to actually find some stock to fill it with, and yeah, just we kind of sat down and hashed out what should we call it. For those who don't know, it's named after my sisters. It's their nicknames, so I need to be a bit closer there. That's
so cute, though. It's Bod and Ted
nicknames.
Is very, very sweet, and it's a cool name. It's a very cool name.
Yeah, I like it. It definitely. I think it's a bit different, which is what we liked about
and definitely in 2008. It would have been very different. Yeah. This is what I always say to people about Chatty Hatter. I'm like, Chatty Hatter, way back in the day. It's a bit more normal now to have a company called Chatty Hatter. But when we launched it 11 years ago, it was a bit like, oh, what does that mean? So it's funny. It's timeless. Yeah. But that's being authentic, I guess. So you literally took over a lease. How long was the lease that you took over at the beginning?
Do you know what? I can't even remember, to be honest. It feels like so long ago. But a couple of years later, in 2010, it was difficult to manage down there. It's it's a 6-hour drive in the summer. It was very, very seasonal. Summer was great. Winter, it was dead.
Yeah.
So in 2010, my mum literally saw, I think, that there was a up to lease sign on the shop we are now, 70 High Street, and we thought, let's do that. And then at one point we actually had 3 shops for a very short while.
Where was I doing? 2 shops?
So we were in Salcombe and Tunbridge Wells, and then we opened in Brighton, which was where I was living.
Goodness me.
But yeah, so that was a short while of having 3, which was interesting. Definitely, when people are like, would you open another shop now? I think it's not on my list at the moment.
You were 21 when you started.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What did you do before you were 21? How did you, what was your background before opening this store?
I didn't really do, I was studying. I moved to Brighton to become a singer.
Did you?
I met my husband, who also was a musician.
Yeah.
I mean, I say was because we both are not doing that anymore.
Okay.
But so I kind of fell into Bod and Ted, and I think I was kind of singing alongside. I was sort of doing open mic nights and gigging, and
brilliant.
I think I just realised that actually I really loved doing it, and I was good at it. So the music kind of just fell to the wayside a little bit. But yeah, and then in terms of, I mean, my background was music and history, so completely nothing to do with.
Yeah.
But my mum had always, she'd always loved the idea of having a shop. She used to go to market stalls when we were growing up, selling like kids' clothes. She was always kind of like hustling, like looking, for the next thing that she could do. So I think it was definitely like a lifelong dream of hers, and we were just like, let's go for it. I think I was very young and naive, which was probably a good thing.
Yes.
And didn't have much responsibility. So,
but how lovely to do that with your mum as well.
Yeah, it was a real adventure. It was a great.
I mean, that's like, and to be, because it's hard setting up any business. And, if you go into business with someone and you've got a business partner, there's advantages and disadvantages of doing it with family, but it's also really nice to set up with your family, because you can have those really honest, open conversations.
Definitely. I mean, you can be like brutally honest. I think definitely when we would be buying together, for sure, I think there was no kind of pussyfooting around. Sort of, it's like, no, that's not going to say, and we would almost keep each other in check. Yeah. If I was going for something, she'd be like, no.
Have you got?
And then she'd be.
Did that happen a lot, Sophie?
Well, we were like good at balancing each other out, for sure.
So what did your mum do? What's your mum's name?
Yvonne.
Yeah. What did Yvonne do before? So you mentioned markets, because I used to do markets.
Did you?
I did Greenwich, I did Camden back in the day, because that's what I started doing with clothes back years and years ago. Back in the day, yeah. Clock Boutique in Tunbridge Wells.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I did that, and many shops in Tunbridge Wells before I got into media and that side of things. But I loved it. I loved the people, I loved the social, but I did do buying at Clock, but other than that I did management of stores, and then that's how I moved away from it. But I mean, it's every girl's dream. You get to go shopping every day.
That definitely is the highlight, for sure, and it doesn't get old after all these years. I love it, the going buying, and obviously as we've kind of grown, as the business has grown, there's more buying to be done. So we are lucky enough to go to Paris and sometimes Denmark, and obviously lots of the gorgeous showrooms in London. And it's a great day.
It's amazing. So your mum, she'd done some of these markets. She'd always wanted to do this. She was always really passionate about it. Had she done that before in her life when she was younger?
Not really. I mean, she was a real hippie kind of. She travelled about a lot, left home when she was 16, and I mean, she had an amazing wardrobe. I wish she had have kept some more of it, to be honest. But no, I'm one of 4, so she spent a lot of her time raising us, and I think it came sort of later in life to be like, what am I going to do? And it kind of just all fell into place. There was no plan, which is pretty much how my mum kind of lived her life, to be honest. It was just like, let's just do it. We never sat down and had a business plan. It was literally, we just went and bought some stock. Amazing. And then we sold that stock and bought some more. And then it just... look, what I'm wearing today, for those of you who don't, every single bit of me is Bod and Ted. Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, my leathers, which are my sturdy leathers, which are, I could live in these. I could actually sleep in these. I think there's a pair of
those on there.
They're amazing. They are the best that I've ever, and my shoes.
Yeah.
And this beautiful ensemble, which you generously lent to me last night. So some of people might have seen me at a certain fashion show, Amelia Scott show, where they were like, it matches your glasses. And I was like, it's almost like me and Sophie at Bod and Ted and Edney and Edney were in communication.
Yeah, it's like we've planned it all.
Planned it. But you did. You literally, I walked in yesterday and you were like, this is it. That's a gift.
Well, you'd given me a heads up. You were looking for some neon,
but you knew. You're good when you go in. I think that's a real gift when you go into shops and people know, because you get to know your customers, don't you? You've got a really tight knit community of people, that regulars like myself that come in, and you know what sort of things that they like. We
do, and I think having been there for such a long time, you do get to know your customers. Lots of our customers are friends, really, really good friends over the years, and you get to know what sells, and you know when something's going to fly out, and you get it wrong from time to time, but generally we know what people are going to like. That we have lots of customers who we sort of WhatsApp pictures of when things come in. Yeah, we're like, you're going to love this. Yeah, they almost get it before it kind of hits the shop floor.
Talking about that, because obviously 2008, you wouldn't have had obviously, like you say, you've got an online shop now as well as physical shop. That wasn't really going on in 2008, was it, so much?
No, it wasn't. And to be honest, I think it was such like a simpler time. Part of that's quite nice, because it is, there's just so much to be doing now. It's like with social media and with online. It was a very simple time. We didn't even have an EPOS system. We just had a book, literally like a notebook with what stock we had written down, and I'd put the numbers of the sizes, and then if we sold one, I'd circle it.
Brilliant.
It was literally a handwritten. We didn't have a till. There was no website. It was a very different time.
But it's amazing, isn't it, that it was like that?
Yeah, because it's not that long ago. But no, it wasn't. The website came sort of years later, and there was no social media.
And did you find with the website, when the website came along, that things were selling through the website, or has it been more since social media has really kicked off?
I think it's always been very sort of organic, our website. We never kind of had the means to do lots of marketing, or so it kind of started off, I think, very slowly and organically. And now, we ship all over the world. We have lots of kind of really loyal customers who aren't local to us. I was actually, I was getting the Eurostar to Paris on a buying trip recently, and I had a lovely shirt on by a lovely brand we do called SZ Block Prints. It's like this lovely stripy shirt, and a lady came up and was like, "Oh, I love your shirt. Where's it from?" And I said the name of the shop, and she replied, "Oh, I've shopped with you online." And it was a real kind of, "Oh,
that's so nice."
Yeah, I was just a bit kind of shocked. But obviously it happens, but so that was quite exciting.
Talk me through some of these beautiful pieces, because there's obviously, I'm talking when I was doing it 25 years ago. It was a long time. I'm much, much younger than I look, I know, Sophie, but it was a long time ago. And literally, when we were buying, we'd go up to London, We'd have a look at what was around. We did traditionally French Connection, Great Plains, things like that. And we'd go and sit and have a little look at the shows and see what was going on. Pick our pieces. Used to love that, going down the stock room, getting all an extra bit of aram.
So did you take it with you? You took it with you?
We could actually go down to the stock room and actually take some stock with us, and then we'd have people come in and they'd come into the shop and try and obviously sell us their stock, and then we go to certain shows. Never went. I mean, I was really young then. I mean, I think I was about 18, and I had an amazing guy, Nick, who owned Clock, who really took me under his wing and sort of took me with him, and I loved it, but I knew nothing. I wanted to get into fashion, but I knew nothing about it. But I mean, you know, for you've got so many different brands. You must have built on that. Where do you start from? Where did you start from?
It's always different with each brand, really. No, I remember when we first started out, having to kind of almost tell a few little white lies about brands we did, because it's hard at the beginning. Yeah. To be taken seriously. You don't have, obviously now, when we quite often get approached by brands, or when we're approaching a brand, we've got a whole kind of brand list to tell them the brands we stock. But, you know, there was a time, we had to sort of tell a few little white lies about what brands we stock to try and be taken seriously by other brands. But now it's a mix. We get approached by some. Instagram is great for that.
Amazing.
Like I'm constantly kind of looking for something a bit different. We do stock some kind of bigger names, but generally I sort of like to find things that are a bit different, a bit exclusive. Quite a few brands. We are sort of one of very few stockists in the UK. Some we might be the first stockist. So generally it's just looking for something almost before everybody else gets it.
That's what's nice. That's what I like doing on this.
You know, we have a lot, and I mean, for spring summer 23, we've got, I think, something like 12 new brands.
Wow.
Coming into the brand mix.
And how far ahead? You must have to plan quite far ahead, because seasonals, I mean, I can remember that. I mean, I remember that even in media, when I was working with magazines and things like that, you'd be selling, like, you know, if you work, you know, I worked on ID magazine for a long time, and that was, you know, you'd be working on issues that were months and months ahead. So you'd see what was coming up way before it was coming up on the actual shelves. The trends that are coming up, I guess.
You're working kind of 6 months minimum.
Wow.
In the future, and obviously, I mean, we definitely touch on trends. That's very important, but we're not sort of super trend led. We're always working on kind of the next season, and when one buying season stops, it's like, right, on to the next. It's just kind of constant, and we like to always kind of have new collections in. So it used to be very much sort of 4 collections a year. 2 collections a year. It was like a spring summer collection, an autumn winter collection. It's much more fluid now. It's kind of lots of brands. I mean, some brands are dropping new collections every month. A lot are doing 4 collections a year, so there's kind of always newness, which is good. I mean, we keep our buy very tight. We don't like to kind of oversaturate with a style. I mean, you know, you don't want to be bumping into somebody walking down the street in Tunbridge Wells wearing that, do you?
And that is the thing which is key, which is really key, actually, because you're right, because this is beautiful, and I am going to wear this dress forever now. Anyone that's watched this, but you can still go and buy one, and I'll let you know when I'm wearing mine. But I mean, I'm wearing it on this now, so I'll save it for another occasion. But it is that thing, isn't it? You can see certain pieces, but when they are really striking, you know, if someone else is wearing which is what I love about your boutique, is that, you know, you come in and it is very unique. You do feel like there's what if something does go crazy though? You must just think, it's hard. If 100 people want to buy this dress, what does one do, Sophie?
Well, I do reorders, for sure, but I try just not to go too.
Because you can't please everyone.
No, and
you're a business.
I know. I think there's always something else for them. At the end of the day, it's like there was somebody in yesterday who wanted a dress in that floral print, actually, just on the end, the dress version, and we didn't have their size, but then they ended up finding something else they loved. So
that's it. It always works out for the best. So these are some of the pieces. Look at these literally are, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Look.
They're the exact ones. They're
and these
fab.
I mean, I'm telling you now, I live in these.
Yeah, I do.
They're incredibly good quality.
And they've just launched them in a green and a dark green, which are lovely.
Oh, and
very dark.
A lovely pair of Edney and Edney. So
got a pair for every
I'll be
occasion.
down later to see them. But I mean, this is beautiful. So, I mean, yeah, talk us through some of the pieces that you chose to bring in today. It'd be really, we've not done this before on the show, so it's really nice to do this with you, Sophie.
So this was me kind of running in after the school run and grabbing basically some of my favourite things and things that I thought would kind of pop on camera.
Yeah.
There's a lot of colour. So yeah, some really good brands. This brand is a new brand to us this season, Dawn and Dare, and
that's lovely.
This is a great one actually because they're all made using kind of offcuts of their main collection, so it's super sustainable. Every one is handmade. They're all unique, so no kind of two look the same. So that's a great brand. This is one of my favourite brands. I have this. This is Hayley Menzies,
beautiful.
Who's a British brand. She's a British designer. She started in Portobello Market, and she does these amazing like long duster cardigans that you may have seen in the shop. Another best-selling brand in the middle there, that's Essential Antwerp. And then on the end there is a brand we do called Kraz, which is very sustainable. They use all recycled polyester. They make a lot of their fabrics out of recycled water bottles, which blows my mind because I don't know how, but so
there's a real story behind a lot of the pieces that you do as well, isn't there?
When a brand kind of approaches us or we see a brand, it's definitely got to have a point of difference. And pretty much all of our brands do. There's got to be something that kind of sets it apart from...
It's got to fit with your ethos.
And just have something a bit different about it, for sure.
And also, accessories, you've got loads of accessories. Oh my God, my favourite. I haven't got them in today because I've got earphones on, but my Rubik's Cube and my dinosaur.
Oh, heaven, aren't they? They're actually
literally
this brand.
Is it?
They're really good fun.
They are just they are so cute, and all my bracelets, and I think I've got some going on. I matched them up.
I can see
my daughter says to me, 11 today, says to me that I just dress like a child. I'm like, good. I'm glad about that.
Like all the pretty things.
All the pretty colours, but it's these neons are amazing. I mean, look,
these bracelets. I've caught my son. He's been in there.
Got all your neon
pinched
ones.
A couple. We've got home and I've taken, got him ready for bed, and there's a couple in his pocket.
I've got loads of them. I've got every time I go and I'm like, I'm going to get another bracelet, and so I'll be wearing those today. But these are gorgeous. This is
that's actually a new brand as well.
That's good fun.
That's the last one actually. It's been it's been a bit of a hit.
Let's see if it loses the studio today. This would look very nice, wouldn't it?
You need
cunning this Sophie from Bod and Ted. I can tell you.
Not planned.
No. I mean, it's got an American vintage. I love.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's how I discovered Bod and Ted. For me, was American vintage is such a soft brand, but you can't get it. One of my best friends from LA, she comes over, she loves your shop. She literally loves it, and she's like, American vintage over there is obviously you can get it much more accessibly than you can over here.
I mean, American vintage is actually one of the brands we first started with. Back, we've been doing it for years, and it's still one of our best sellers. It's just but we've pretty much been doing that since the beginning of time of Bod and Ted.
There is nothing softer than an American vintage sweatshirt, and
their colours. I actually haven't got any American vintage on there. Not very good of me, is it?
But, it's just, but is this? So this one is.
Oh no, it is. You're right.
Look,
there you go.
Yeah, see, I can see it. I can see it. Well, no, because it's just. There's just something really different about them, and they are. And again, a thing that I always say is that sometimes, because I always make a bit of a joke with you that I come into Bod and Ted and I spend a bit of money, but I tell you what, I bought these last year.
Exactly.
I bought these last year, and the pieces that I get, and certainly as I've got more mature, shall we say, I want to wear things that are a little bit individual, that I can mix with other things.
Totally.
Rather than just, I used to be when I was younger, sort of much more of a really wasteful consumer, because I would just buy lots and lots of badly, not great quality, wouldn't have a great story behind it, wouldn't be so sustainable, and then I just chuck it away. You know, I'd give it to charity shops,
and
but I would still chuck it away.
There's a lot of kind of talk about kind of fast fashion versus slow fashion at the moment, and you know, we've always been slow fashion, and I do think there's definitely kind of a resurgence of that, and people are kind of really getting behind that. I think massively kind of in lockdown. That started, I mean, because obviously people had to shop locally because we had to stay kind of local. But I think there's definitely people want to kind of shop locally. They can see that that's what we need to be doing for our town. You know, it's like there's loads of statistics, isn't there, about kind of for every £1 that's spent, I think 63 pence goes back into the local economy versus like 40p shopping online. And you know, I think I remember actually in the first lockdown, one of my really close friends, sort of, who's a big fan of Bod and Ted, so another Sophie, her name, and she sort of said that she'd sort of sat down and thought, what businesses or shops or you know, any local businesses would she really miss if they went? And she sort of got together a list of a few and made it her kind of job for that week to go and support them all. So whether that's buying a coffee and I just thought that was really nice, because we, you know, in somewhere like Tunbridge Wells, we've got all these amazing small businesses, but actually if you're not supporting them, then it's, you know, how long are they going to be there for? And it's what makes your town kind of unique and makes it a great place to live. So I think people were really keen to kind of support us, and
that's good. Could you, I mean, lockdown was, I mean, for shops, I mean, that just, for everyone, I mean, it was just, it was, just couldn't open. No, and it was, you know, obviously we've committed to, and people aren't going out, they're not wearing clothes, they're not, you know, I mean these, I mean, I would have been wearing that. Great. We sold a lot of those during lockdown. But do you know what I mean? There's only so much. It's like everyone was wearing more loungewear, weren't they? Because they were going out for walks, but you wouldn't necessarily be, and that's going to affect you when you've pre-bought stock in the future. And we just had to massively adapt. I mean, I think that's the good thing. Another good thing with small businesses, obviously with the kind of bigger stores, they can't adapt as quickly. There's so many kind of levels that it has to filter down through, whereas it's like we can literally, if somebody gives us feedback, it's like the next day we can action it. So we just completely kind of changed what we were selling. Amazing. It wasn't my favourite time in terms of the stock, because it was literally just loungewear. I was like, where are the pretty dresses? This is not for me. But yeah, I just had my daughter literally like 6 weeks before we went into lockdown, and I had a toddler, and it was just, it's kind of a bit of a blur, but we just adapted and did absolutely everything that we could think of to kind of keep orders coming in. Brilliant. Whether that was, you know, like I said, WhatsApping customers pictures, doing FaceTime kind of styling sessions with people, taking orders. I mean, I remember at Christmas I was having to self-isolate, and my husband would take our daughter in the sling and go deliver orders to people locally, like hand deliver them. So just anything. And then we started doing our lives. And again, nobody was doing lives then. It wasn't a thing. And, you know, it took us massively out of our comfort zone. It was when we first started doing them, and now it's just, we're so used to it now. But that's the thing, isn't it? When you first start doing anything, it's just a bit like, oh, we're doing this, and then it just becomes the norm. And then it's great that you can do that. It's great. I mean, if we can't actually record or film a podcast, but we're at a show, we can just go and do an Insta Live and talk to someone and capture that moment, which is, it is fantastic. It is. I mean, we've got kind of so many like tools available, haven't we? Now? But it is, you know, I remember when we would first do them, it was really daunting. Like the idea of being live and the pressure
and everyone was at home, so there were lots of people watching, and as we kept doing them, obviously that kind of grew. But yeah, that's been a great kind of tool for us, for sure.
And I love your social media. I was saying to you earlier, I need you to pack for my next holiday for me, please.
We make it look so easy.
Honestly, don't we? Literally. How do you, I did try to go, we went on a business trip with a couple of weeks ago. We did an exhibition, and I did try to literally limit what I packed, because it went better. It went better because my friend, again from LA, she comes all the way from LA with hand luggage for a week, and she's in the industry, but she manages to match pieces. And I'm always like, how? I'm the person that goes on holiday.
You'd have that for just your glasses, all your different glasses.
Just like, it's really bad. It's really.
I'm not the best. Are
you not
great? I have got better, I think. I think it's all about having sort of a capsule wardrobe. Obviously,
exactly.
If you have pieces that all work together and you can mix and match, it's much easier than if you're kind of taking statement pieces. But yeah, I have got better as I've had children. It's the reality of a holiday for me at the moment is not these lovely dresses I took loads on my summer holiday as if I was going to wear them. I'd get the kids in bed and then just get in my tracky bums with a glass of wine. So my time will come.
It will come, but I know exactly what you're saying, because I had a few nice dresses when I went to Greece with the children, and mine are slightly older than yours, and literally they didn't get worn, and I was like, why did I even bring them? They look very pretty, but they're not going to get worn.
And then it's, you put it on and within 5 minutes you're covered, or I'm covered in chocolate ice cream, whatever.
She's very cute. Because your children, how old are your children?
They are 5 and 2. Oh, actually 6. My little boy just turned 6 and almost 3.
And I met her yesterday. She is absolutely gorgeous.
She's a firecracker, that one.
She's very cute. Yeah. I think she was walking. When I was leaving,
she had the card machine.
And she was talking to the card machine as if it was a phone, which was brilliant.
I know.
She's a proper little character.
And then my son is basically exactly the same as her, but just a bigger version. They look exactly the same.
So how does that go, managing business with children?
I think it's, you do it. I think the main problem that we face is, or I feel for me, is just that constant guilt, the kind of mum guilt, and just feeling like when you're at work, that you're dropping balls at home. When you're at home, rather than necessarily being in the moment, you're kind of thinking about everything you need to do. I mean, I always say sort of I work part-time. I think when it's your own business, it's never really part-time, because it's kind of all consuming. But I split my time between sort of work and being at home with them. I'm at home with them a few days a week. And it's hard. And I think I'm lucky I have an amazing team in the shop. We all work part-time. There's 6 of us, and this year especially, I think it would have been a very different year without them. They're such a lovely bunch of ladies.
That's so good. I think you've got to be on the same page with your team, haven't you? It's really important.
Yeah, we all, we're all friends. It's just such a nice kind of working environment.
That's lovely.
We've taken on, this is kind of the first time we've ever had sort of a dedicated social media manager. That's new for us, because again, it's just taking things off your plate, isn't it? And freeing you up to do kind of other things. So and then we've got Paula, who's our lovely store manager, and then Rachel, Rosie and Sophie, who are kind of all like part-time store stylists, and they're all lovely.
And they all look lovely in all the clothes.
They look amazing. They're all in their 50s, and I'm just like, they look
fantastic.
They're all like models,
and they're all just very good at. As soon as I go in, I'm just like, I like that. I mean, that's what I love about coming into.
Yeah, and they look good in their clothes. It's like as soon as they have something on, you're guaranteed someone's going to come in and
absolutely. Now, this beautiful dress you're wearing.
This is Bod and Ted, of
This
course.
is Bod and Ted. And this is new in,
This is new in. Again, we haven't got a huge amount of stock left, but this is by Free People. And
Free People. This is another name that comes up a lot from my friend overseas.
So this is, actually, they are American. But yeah, it's another really nice brand. They're kind of quite bohemian.
Yeah.
Lots of print, lots of colour. And yeah, but like with everything, there's never a huge amount of stock. It is very much like get it.
Exclusivity.
But yeah, this is on the website. Yours will be going on the website. Yeah, but no, there's lots I love in there at the moment.
Beautiful. It's lovely. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's just fun.
I just love a dress.
I've got the one that I wore for Castlemas last year. That obviously was your Bod and Ted one. That I think that was when we first started talking, and I wore that for the. And it was just I love that. It's the red and white one. Yes. I come with the lace trim. I was thinking the other day. I was thinking. Oh, I'm gonna wear that for Christmas.
Yeah, that brand is gorgeous.
It's just, but they're timeless.
Favorites. Yeah.
They're just timeless. So would you use, it's interesting you say the word bohemian, because that's come up a few times recently, because I'd said to someone the other day, if I could have called my child anything, bohemian would have been on a list. But interesting, my son's second name is Bo and my daughter's second name is nearly Mia. So they were like, well, you were nearly bohemian. Yeah. But it's, yeah, I always say my sort of style would be sort of boho chic with a bit of Mr. T thrown in when I like wearing gold.
What a combo.
I mean, you know, just to be and a bit quirky.
You've
and
got
a bit
of
wacky.
like rock kind of
a bit, but do you know what I mean? But what would you say with the shop? Would you say you're
it's such an eclectic. I mean,
it is eclectic.
I definitely have like I love kind of bohemian kind of clothing. I always have, you know, I remember kind of growing up sort of being a teenager and like Sienna Miller and all of that, like, the Glastonbury, all of that kind of look was definitely, I loved that, even though I really didn't have the body shape for it, you know, when you're wearing things.
Listen, you've had 2 children, you have a fantastic physique, Sophie.
You know, you just
I know what
they're
you're
all
saying.
very like
Sienna Miller, I know,
but yeah, so and I love like the 60s and 70s. I mean, like I said, my mum was kind of a real big hippie. I definitely think we kind of get drawn to like 70s influences for sure.
Which is massive now.
I know, it all comes.
The kids,
it all comes back.
They're all. We literally, a mutual friend of ours, took our daughters to Alton Towers. Well, I took the daughters to Alton Towers, and they're smiley face jeans. Are they? You know, all like tie dye, and
they're so cool, aren't they?
It's really like I'm like, and flares, and I'm like, what, you know?
Yeah, flares are back. I mean, back.
What
in a big
jeans?
Way, big way.
I'm not good on jeans. Okay, so before you go, I mean, you do Page jeans, don't you? Which are beautiful. They're like beautifully soft and amazingly comfortable, and I am, you know, I've been in and tried on a few, and I'm like, Sophie, I'm not quite there yet.
Jeans shopping is like notorious.
It's really hard.
It is. It's the worst. But Page are amazing. We've got some gorgeous flares from them, which they're so flattering. We do a brand called A Goldie, which again they're very like 70s, but in a different way. They're kind of very vintage inspired, almost like they're quite stiff denim. And then we've got another new denim brand actually launching for spring summer 23 called Frame. So we've got a lot of jeans.
You have got a lot of jeans,
but
you'd say flares definitely. So what about a lady like myself who's not Sienna Miller?
I mean, straight leg is definitely like there's a move away from skinny. We still sell skinny jeans. There's definitely a place for them, but there is kind of a move towards more of like a straight
flared
leg
look straight leg
or
look,
a wide leg,
and like with trousers as well, I guess, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which is lovely. I just love it all.
It took me a while to get into skinny jeans, and then I was like, oh, now I've got to find
it's a bit like eyebrows. I spent years plucking the life out of mine, and now I'm trying to grow them all back. I mean, it's just it's just the way it goes, isn't it?
Come in. I'll help you find.
Thank you. I would really. I think I need to have a session with you, fitting me in, because I want some good jeans. I've got so many pairs of again, you know, some great high street brands out there that you can mix and match.
Exactly.
But I end up with lots of pairs that I don't wear.
No, I mean, that's the thing with denim. It's like they're an investment, but you don't need many pairs. You just need a couple of good pairs of jeans. It's you know, it's a false economy going and buying a load of kind of cheaper. It's just like get a couple of good higher end, and then you're sort of sorted. But yeah, we do we can put you together a little rail and you can come in.
I'm so doing that. Yeah. I'm so doing that. What is the thing you love the most about what you do, Sophie?
I would say definitely the buying, like we touched on. That's definitely kind of my favourite part of it. I love merchandising, and I love being on the shop floor. I think I remember when we first started, I just got a real buzz out of being on the shop floor, chatting to people and selling. Like we'd have a really good day, and I was young, and I just got such a buzz out of the fact that we could just sell clothes to people, and they would come in. I loved kind of styling them, and it was all just learning on the job. Like I said to you, I never had any kind of I hadn't really even worked other than the shop. I'd mainly worked in kind of pubs, and I'd done like cleaning jobs. I hadn't really ever worked in retail apart from this boutique. And I think I just got a real buzz, and I still love it. Like I still make sure that I have time to be on the shop floor. I think it's really important. Obviously you get to know your customers, they want to see you, and I think it's really good to see what is happening on the shop floor and be able to react to that, and it's a important part of it for me. But I love it. I love what I do. I feel very lucky to be able to do something I love. Don't get me wrong, there's lots of boring things like with any that people don't see.
It's hard, but as long as you do actually love what you're doing, it's worth it.
I think I don't love all the like boring kind of number side of things, but it's got to be done. I mean, my mum, she was definitely more that side of things. She passed away earlier this year, so it's been
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
No, it's been I mean,
that's tough.
I don't I'm quite, our social media it's not hugely, I kind of keep it quite detached.
It's work,
from me, from my life anyway. But so that's been tough, kind of taking on. Obviously, it's been tough for many other reasons, but sort of taking on that side of things more. Things that just are not.
You're
not
learning
my forte.
again. You're learning again,
and it's just more. Obviously, she was, she had taken quite a lot of responsibility on to take it off of me, especially when I'd had the kids. So, that's where the team have just stepped up massively. And, lots of them have lost their mums, and it's been kind of really nice. I feel like they're kind of like
family,
big, like mums to me.
That's lovely. That's what you need. You need people around you that when you're because it is when you're running a small business, or it's medium business. You need that support around you.
Totally, and
people to be flexible.
Just people are kind of as invested. It's hard to find people who are as invested as you, and you feel it's your baby, isn't it? And you feel like there's a certain amount of control you want to have, and it's kind of sometimes you've got to relinquish that and learn to delegate, and it's hard. I think that's probably what I found the hardest. Definitely. I'm getting better for sure, because I've had to.
Great.
I've had to be like, I can't do everything.
I think life delivers you what you need.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you're just like I said to you yesterday, me twisting my ankle. I literally left the shop
and I was slow down.
It was honestly telling me to slow down, because I was absolutely manic.
Yeah.
And when I got into, I was like, this is amazing. I'm on time. Everything's going to work out. Words, as soon as those words come out my mouth, someone says, no, you're going to twist your ankle and you're going to spend the rest of the afternoon in agony, lying with your foot up. But it's moving now. It's fine. It's moving. It's because I've got these boots on. If you'd seen me trying to get these boots on last night before the show,
that must have hurt.
Gary was like,
they're quite a workout.
But they're very sturdy.
Yeah. They'll keep your ankle.
They're keeping me nice and supported. So you get extra support with Bod and Ted shoes as well. You see.
I love them.
I love them, but I know I absolutely love them. I love love everything that you do, and I love you guys. You're always so friendly when you come in, and it's just, you know, it's so good. I love the fact that you're doing the stuff on Instagram as well. I think that's really great. So if you've got a social media manager, that's fantastic, because that takes it to a whole new level, doesn't it, with the retail world, I think.
Oh, definitely. And it's so time consuming. You know, you see all this content coming out, and you know, it looks easy, and it is easy, but it's time consuming. It takes a lot of time. And we've just realised now that is time we need to be spending on it, because we do see, you know, it's is a worthwhile. It's a massive part for us, and I think it's connecting to people who aren't local. So it is. We kind of do, like, every month we do a day of content, and
brilliant. That's a good idea.
Get it in the diary, and just anything else that comes up that day, it's like, no, we're doing, and it's always such a fun day. We have such a laugh.
That's such a good idea.
She actually was my kind of godsend through lockdown. She was in the shop packing hundreds of orders a week, like a little robot in there. And I'd go down with Alba in the sling, and we'd go and do the live. So she's now kind of back doing our social media, and we have such a laugh. Like, she's a great friend of mine. And actually I took her along. We went along to the Drapers Awards recently.
Amazing.
Which we won an award.
I heard, yes.
But yeah, so we had a great time. We just thought we were going along for a fun day out. I was like, oh, come on, Ellie, we'll go and have a girls' day. Got dressed up. So yeah, that was fun. She's great fun. We always have a good time doing our content. We've got one, I think, next week. So
good luck.
Yeah. Stay tuned. That dress might be appearing in it.
Can you imagine?
I need to get you on there.
I mean, listen, I'm always around. If you need me to come and have a chat about how beautiful this dress is, I'm there. And it's covered in hearts.
I know.
It's just literally the perfect dress.
It really is.
It's been so nice to talk to you. It's been a long time coming, but I'm sure lots of people that have seen me on these episodes have thought, that's a bit of Bod and Ted, that's a bit of Bod and Ted, that's a bit of Bod and Ted. And, you know, they will continue to see that. Lots of, maybe even later on today. I'm just going to have a quiet word off camera in a minute. But thank you so much. And for people that can't get down to the store, obviously, as you mentioned, you're in the high street in Tunbridge Wells. But for people that can't, what's the best way for them to find you, Sophie?
So we're online. Yeah. Bod and Ted. .co.uk and Instagram. So we're always very happy to answer questions and queries on there, and
and you always answer the phone.
We always answer the phone,
which is a great thing, because not everyone answers the phone anymore.
That's true. And do you know what? How
honestly
nice is it to be able to speak to a person, because you just can't speak to a person.
Do you honestly? If I phone you guys, even if someone can't, I get phone back.
Oh, good. The girls are good. See,
they're good.
They're good.
I'm telling you, and they did not pay me to say that at all. Well, listen, I think it's amazing what you're doing. I think your story, your journey is amazing. It's phenomenal. You clearly have a great talent for what you do, but also you've done this, and it's in honour of your mum as well. You know, I mean, what a wonderful thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's
what
definitely
a wonderful thing.
Kind of legacy. It's
Isn't
a real family business, and you know, we've had some of the kind of biggest highs and biggest lows of the past couple of years in business and in sort of my personal life. And she would love all of this. Like, she'd love this. She'd love the Drapers Awards.
She's watching.
I know. I like to think that.
She's sat behind that rail. She's going, good
and
girl.
I always, when something comes in, I always think she might unpack it and be like, oh, what were you thinking? Or I'd say it to something she chose. So I always have that thought in my head.
Have the little chats. I still chat to my dad all the time. He's always telling me off about something or other, but it's always quite amusing, the conversations we have. But thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And everyone needs to get into Bod and Ted and get some of this beautiful. I mean, I need to go now. I'm drawn to the neon indeed. So thank you so much for coming on the big chat, and I'm sure we will chat again. And I look forward to wearing more of your beautiful clothes in the future. Keep buying amazing pieces, please.
I will do,
and sharing them with the world.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you,
for having
Sophie.
me.
Take care. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.